All right. So welcome, Ali.
Thank you.
Please briefly introduce again yourself as well as tell me a little bit about what your role over at Inroads is.
Okay. Well, thank you, John. Thank you again to the Stony Brook Career Services Center for giving me this opportunity. I don't take it lightly. My name is Ali James, as you know, and my role at Inroads is as a senior program manager for the New York, New Jersey region, where I work with two sets of core constituents from a programming perspective. The college students, which is our Leadership Development Academy, which is what we're here to talk about today. But we also have a pre college programming based out of Newark, where I work with high schoolers from freshman to junior. My primary function is to be this touch point of service and support for underserved and underrepresented students who come into our program, whether they come in through College Links or whether they come in through LDA. And that means coaching, training, developing, being a sounding board for their career thinking. Really, at the heart of it all is being that center and touch point for them as they go and grow through their careers.
Thank you. And for my second question is, can you tell me a little bit about what Inroads typically looks for in a candidate?
You know, the wonderful thing about Inroads, we've been doing this for 50 years. We're celebrating our 50th this year. Inroads really is big enough to be exclusive, meaning that you can have a wealth of students who represents all diaspora of diversity and industry careers, and yet still find the ability to compete at Inroads. While our primary focus is on African American, Black, Latinx, Native Americans, we have such a plethora of opportunities that the door is open. What I look for is a student who is willing to do the work, who follows up, follow through, who is committed to their success, who wants to learn, has that learning spirit, has that ambitious spirit. Because the truth is, and then I'll end here, the truth is that because we don't put some of the barriers that you may see in other programs like letters of recommendations, and you have to have a 3.5 and all of those other things, you have a lot of students applying, and therefore the competition is as fierce, if not fiercer, because the student have to break through the noise of the count, so to speak, the amount of students there. So follow up, follow through, a learning spirit, an ambitious spirit is, I think, some of the success competencies or characteristics, I would say, of a good Inroads intern.
Awesome. And again, whenever you speak, I always get like goosebumps. So awesome advice, Ali. And for my last and final question, can you tell me a little bit about why Inroads has chosen Stony Brook University as a place to recruit candidates?
For me, it's two things. It's the caliber of the Career Service Center, because the partnership has to have some equivalency, meaning that we are going to bring these opportunities to your students, but we've got to know that you're partnering in a real and critical way. So some of the things that we do to get the word out about Inroads, the work that you do to prep and prepare your students, the commitment that you have, the intentionality that the Career Services Center shows in working with Inroads, to me, is one of my primary reasons. And then secondarily, because of the work that you do, we find such great talent. You know, the talent that come eager and, following up, following through. If I tell a Stony Brook students, well, you need to go to talk to Jai Wei and get prepped and ready, inevitably they go. So I think the work that you do, the intentionality and the engagement that you put in your students show up in the broader community, and we get such great talent. We have Stony Brook students who, for the most part, will say, hey, is there an opportunity over there? Because I'm looking at it through a career lens, I'm going. And they're responsive, engaged, and ready to pull up their proverbial sleeves and work. And that's why we come here. That's why we do the work here. We're laying the foundation in good ground.